Alright, well, it's time to do some testing on the semi-armor piercing main battery shells on the Italian cruisers, the premium cruisers. You can see I'm filtered for premium Italian cruisers right here, and I only have two to choose from, so it's the Genova and the Duca of D'aosta, and I really do like the Genova. So here is this new upgrade slot here, which I think, yeah, they said would get reset. And okay, so let's check this out. And artillery. So this module replaces HE shells with semi-armor piercing shells. It costs nothing. It would probably, once this is out of the testing phase, it'd probably be 400,000 credits, I would guess. Unless they're simply going to switch those around. So okay, so instead of switching between armor piercing and HE, you'll be switching between armor piercing and semi-armor piercing. So, oh, semi-armor piercing shells. Shells can deal consistently high damage when they penetrate armor. No damage is dealt when the shells ricochet or don't penetrate the armor. And let's, for reviews, armor-piercing shells penetrate the armor and explode inside the ship, causing significant damage to combat departments. I think that's maybe compartments, but okay. The fuse arms, if the armor is thick enough. If the armor is not thick enough, the shells will over-penetrate, causing significantly less damage. So maybe the semi-armor piercing will go a long way to preventing the over-penetration right there. Alright, and maximum damage is 4850 versus 4700 for the armor-piercing shells. So I think, I'm thinking I'm probably going to want to stick with the semi-armor piercing full-time here without really knowing much more about it. Alright, so let's check out the Duca of D'aosta here. And they could have put these in these slots right here. And once they go live, maybe it would just be between armor piercing and semi-armor piercing instead of armor piercing and HE. Or it would be kind of interesting to be able to select HE if the semi-armor piercing is not good enough for you. So alright, so let's check out the stats on the Duca of D'aosta here, and 3,200 AP shell damage, and semi-armor piercing is significantly higher. So they did say that this was a test and these could like overperform. So once the test is over with, they will probably lower that down a little bit right there. So alright. Well, okay, so that is how you set up the ships for the semi-armor piercing shells. So let's take the Genova and the Duca of D'aosta out in a standard match and see what they do. All right, we're going to start out here in the Genova, and we are in hotspot. And what you hear about these semi-armor piercing shells is how they have the potential to one strike destroyers. So you can take a destroyer out in one salvo, and this is a test, so if that becomes too much of a thing, you can expect that Wargaming would calm that down a little bit and take away some of the damage potential, because I guess they want balance and wouldn't want that to be too prominent of a feature, I guess. But in any event, we're going to come up here, and we finally got into a match with a bunch of destroyers to test that out. And so there's 3 destroyers on each side, so I'm going to come right up here to B and see if I could get into it with a destroyer somehow. And even though I said that I really liked the Genova, it was one of my favorite Italian cruisers, what I found is by doing this test, it's like, holy cow, these main guns really take a very long time to reload compared to the Duca of D'aosta, and that is kind of a problem actually. But Not in this match, in this particular situation. So we're capturing B, but you can see that the red team has stopped it because they are in the base already. And here's this Clemson coming around. You can see he's about 3/4 health, and we're going to take one salvo at him, and we just blow him right out with 4 main gun hits. First blood medal, a devastating strike medal, and that is your one shot on the destroyers right there, big time. So a few minutes later, there's a Podvosky up here, another destroyer, and we're going to hit full power and come around this island and try to get another one shot on this guy. And he is turning away a little bit. Looked like he was turning away. Now he's actually turning toward us. Now you can get up here and see what's going on. And there is another one strike on a destroyer. So 2 destroyers taken out by one shots with devastating strikes. And that really is about the highlight on the Genova right there. So the next up is a Duca D'aosta. And like I said, this ship was a much better deal for me because the main guns did reload in about half the time it took the Genova. All right, so this time we're in straight, and there is only 2 destroyers per side in this match. 2 cruisers per side, and a whole bunch of battleships. So we're going to see how these semi-armor-piercing shells do against the battleships, I guess. My plan is to use only semi-armor-piercing main guns throughout the entire match. I don't plan to switch to armor-piercing at all to, try to completely or test out as much as I can the semi-armor-piercing shells and just see how we do here with that armament.
Enemy force detected.
Right, so the plan is to come over here around to the left, over by this island right up here. And we're going to stop once we get to that island and try to use the island for cover. But we are sort of in the center of the map. We're going to try to look for any other targets of opportunity that are out there. It is really nice to have some kind of armament that does not continually overpen the destroyers. A lot of times with the HE shells, you don't overpen, but you cause so little damage that it takes many salvos to really do in a red team destroyer. So here, the fact that you can one-shot a destroyer with these semi-armor piercing shells is awesome, but I am afraid, based on my limited testing here, that that power output and damage potential is going to be nerfed eventually. Actually, I hope not, because it is kind of a cool feature of these ships, and it will add a little bit more drama if you're in a destroyer against an Italian cruiser. You're definitely going to want to watch out for the Italian cruisers because they may have semi-armor piercing shells, and that is like an immediate death sentence for any destroyer as far as I could tell here. But I'm looking around. I don't really see any targets up here. There's a Leander. I'm kind of hoping that my torpedoes could get in the gap right there. Looks like there would be an intercept, but the Leander looks like he was turning around, at least at that point. Now he's going back, so I'm not really sure what's going on over there. But I'm thinking about letting a rack of torpedoes go into that gap there, but I didn't really like that that angle and its situation. Looked like too many of my torpedoes would be blocked by islands right there, so I'm still looking around trying to get a good gauge on a target. Still nothing. So I'm looking over on this side. There's a Furitaka. That looked like that would be easy pickings if I could get a shot on him, but he went dark. He didn't really have much health left anyway, so he is not going to be around for much longer, it looks like. And here I hit the sonar and this destroyer pops up 2 kilometers away. The T-22 looks like he is coming around, and he probably has no idea that this cruiser can one-shot him like this. And check this out. That guy is absolutely gone. 7 main gun hits, a devastating strike, and he never really had a chance. And 5,000 damage on 7 main gun hits. That is awesome. I don't recall one salvo getting 5,000 damage like that on a destroyer with any other ship that I've had. Seems to me that the most I would get is right around 2,500 if I'm lucky, and you have to get 4 or 5 salvos, it seems like, to really take out a destroyer. So this destroyer certainly wasn't full health because he only had 5280 health left. But here, you know, we do have torpedoes, and even though we are trying out the semi-armor piercing shells, the main idea here is to survive and to try to win the match if we can. So we are kind of lining up this Texas here for an easy torpedo shot. And as he's coming around the island, I am going into the island to prevent him from spotting me. But here, the aiming indicator says that the intercept point is going to be through this dead hulk of a destroyer right there. And that just really seems to happen more times than not. Wherever there's like a smoldering dead hulk of a ship, that's going to be where your intercept point is, it seems like. And it is just crazy the way that happens. But now I'm backing up, and I'm certainly spotted by the West Virginia, but I figure he is preoccupied with my teammates over there. So we're going to start hitting them with the semi-armor piercing main guns. They reload every 5 seconds or so. So 6 seconds or so. So it is a really quick reload. And these 3 torpedoes are just going to obliterate that West Virginia right there. And 3 torpedo hits, a flooding, another destroyed ship. So we've got 2 destroyed ships already on 26,000 damage. And we have no joy on the Tennessee there, but I am going to start hitting him with the main guns, and I'm spotted, but I'm not really worried about that because his main guns are pointing in a different direction. And you can see we do get quite a bit of damage right there with the semi-armor piercing shells. And every 6 seconds or so we are firing a salvo, so he is really getting hit pretty well there, and we're up to 39,000 damage already. So now it looks like the Britannia is going to possibly be in the gap here. So I'm going to hold off on those torpedoes. If it looks like he's going to really go into the gap there, I'm going to let the torpedoes go. So there they go. We're going to see how that works out. Still looks good. And auto aim does say that I can get a hit, but I'm holding off a little bit. There is a destroyer that looks like he's gonna luck into the torpedoes there, just stumble into those, but it doesn't happen. And I don't really get that great of a shot on that Mutsaki, otherwise he probably would have been gone. But in any event, he escaped for right now. We're gonna catch up with him later, as it turns out. And he's not going to be so lucky. But now we are doing a 180, and we're going to go around this island and try to meet up with the battleship. If he's still around once we get around this island right here. But the Britannia is not really looking all that great. And we're going to let some torpedoes go. And we're just going to start hammering them with the semi-armor piercing shells.
Torpedoes to starboard.
Get 5 hits right there. They're reloaded already. And we're going to try to take this guy out. And we got him almost down to nothing. And he's gone. My teammate took him out. Yeah, I will admit that I haven't had much luck with Citadel hits against cruisers. I sort of thought that would be more of a thing, but it really hasn't been. For sure, the one feature of the semi-armor piercing shells is the devastating potential against a destroyer, as you saw 3 times already, I think it was. And here the Musaki lets some torpedoes go, no problem there. And we're going to take a shot at this Tennessee as we're going behind the island. And we're going to try to meet up with the Musaki right up there, but we do beach. And, you know, that's because we're not paying attention to where we're going. We're keeping track of the battleship right there. But no harm, no foul. We back up, and we're going to go around and try to get the Musaki. And the commander build that I have on all the Italian cruisers is Mimbelli for an agile build. Trying to get as agile as I can with the commander build, and that really seemed to help out all the Italian cruisers. I don't think I have an accuracy cruiser build on any of the Italian cruisers. I've got Mimbelli ranked up pretty high, I think 16.2 or 3. But we're just going to wait this guy out for a second. There is the torpedoes from the Musaki. Right now we're going to creep up a little bit. We're going to try to get some shots on the Tennessee. We're going to look to take a torpedo shot at the Tennessee. So that was the last known intercept point. That actually looked pretty good. But even though we do have the agile build commander here, we're still having a hard time negotiating this turn. So we're slowing up as much as possible, and then we're going to hit full reverse. And there is the Musaki right there. So he is in big trouble against these semi-armor piercing shells. And that was a miss. So he survived for now, and this is not going to be a miss, I don't think. Yeah, he is gone on only 2 hits, but with the semi-armor piercing shells right there, it doesn't take much to wipe out those destroyers. So we're up to 50,000 damage, 3 destroyed ships, and here the Musaki did let some torpedoes go in like his death move, it seems like. A lot of destroyer players seem to somehow be able to do that. I'm not really sure why or how, but they do. Kind of reminds me of that one perk that they used to have for Call of Duty, where as you get killed, you drop a grenade to sabotage the guy who got you. So if anyone has any idea about that, go ahead and leave a comment down below. But for right now, we're going to come up here and see if we can take care of the Bayern. He is pretty much half health right there, so I don't really expect the semi-armor piercing shells are going to cause a whole lot of damage to him. And we're going to come around here and we're going to look to get some more torpedo action from the Duca D'aosta. And there you can see I shoot the torpedoes way behind the intercept line, anticipating that the battleship will slow down to try to come over and get me. So we're up to 58,000 damage. We're going behind this island, and we're going to leave it to those torpedoes to see if they can finish off the Bayern. All right, 3 torpedo hits, as improbable as it is. We do get our 4th destroyed ship. That match was almost a Kraken on many occasions there, with all the ships dropping in front of us like that. All right, 448,000 credits, 77,000 battle performance damage on 84 main gun target hits, 6 torpedo hits, 4 destroyed ships, a couple of floodings, devastating strike metal, and we were running some boosters, so we did get some big XP numbers with the ship XP, global XP, and especially commander XP. Let's see how we did on the team result. Oh, first place overall, 2,000 XP on 4 destroyed ships. All right. Let's see how we did on the economy tab. 418,000 credits by the time it was all said and done. All right, well, that's it for my initial test of the semi-armor piercing shells on the Genova and Duca of D'aosta. And I think for now you definitely want to look to one strike any destroyers that you see in any matches with your Italian cruisers and these semi-armor piercing shells. But like I said, I haven't really seen all that many Citadel hits against cruisers since I've been testing the semi-armor piercing shells. But that's it for now. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you like it.
Problem solved, sir.
Wow, that is terrible. Those torpedoes would do much more damage. Wow.
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
Okay, so the semi-armor piercing didn't really do much.